Bermuda Triangle is one of the most infamous places on Earth.
Located off of Florida's east coast, this area of the Atlantic Ocean has been home to many mysterious aircraft and ship disappearances.
However, the area is not officially recognized by the U.S. Navy or the U.S. Board of Geographic Names.
Many claim that these mishaps are thanks to the workings of the paranormal or even extraterrestrial beings. The Bermuda Triangle is probably the most widely believed conspiracy theory of all time.
So let's talk location. The Bermuda Triangle, which is also known as the Devil's Triangle, which I find funny,
Naturally,
is a loosely defined region in the western part of the North Atlantic Ocean.
the common definition has the area starting to the east of Miami, Florida, reaching to San Juan, Puerto Rico, and then to the mid-Atlantic island of Bermuda.
Different sources argue over the exact placement and size of the triangle, but most agree that it's between 500,000 and 1.5 million square miles in size.
It's quite a difference.
Yeah.
Like, most agree it is a size. So the earliest suggestion of unusual disappearances and goings-on in the Bermuda area appeared in September 1950. In an article published in the Miami Herald, writer Edward Van Winkle Jones suggested that something was unusual.
Our friend Edward, best last name ever?
Van Winkle Jones. It's not bad.
It starts fancy and there's a tat Jones right at the end of it.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there.
2 years later, Fate magazine published an essay called The Sea Mystery at Our Back Door. It was an article by George X. Sand. This article mentioned the loss of Flight 19 in 1945, in which a group of 5 U.S. Navy bombers were on a training mission in the area. The group became lost and disoriented, eventually crashing into the ocean. All 14 airmen were lost.
To make matters even worse, 13 crew members involved in the search mission for Flight 19 were killed when their airplane exploded in midair due to a collection of gasoline vapors on board.
In February 1964, Vincent Gaddis wrote an article named The Deadly Bermuda Triangle. He argued that Flight 19 and other disappearances were part of a pattern of strange events in the region. The next year, Gaddis expanded his article into a book named The Invisible Horizon.
Throughout the 1970s, countless news articles, reports, magazine articles, and books helped spread the idea of the Bermuda Triangle being a place where mysterious things took place, expanding on Gaddis's work.
While Flight 19 may be one of the better-known Bermuda Triangle incidents, there have been several other aviation accidents in the area.
In 1947, just 2 years after Flight 19, reports said that a B-29 Superfortress was lost off of Bermuda. Lawrence David Kunch, noted Bermuda Triangle doubter, obviously, noted... I'm sorry, I just love that phrase. Noted Bermuda Triangle doubter investigated and found no evidence that a B-29 ever went down. Instead, it was a Douglas C-54 that crashed during a storm.
The next year, in 1948, a pair of plane crashes in the area killed 70 people. Both accidents remain unsolved today, and wreckage has never been found.
In the 1960s, 2 United States Air Force planes were lost over the area, as well as 1 private flight as well.
Now, the Bermuda Triangle hasn't claimed just airplanes. Starting in 1800, there have been numerous incidents at sea reported. The USS Pickering was lost with 90 people on board during a storm, and in 1814, the USS Wasp was lost with 140 souls.
No, I don't like this one. In 1840, a French ship named the Rosalie was discovered adrift and completely abandoned except for a single canary. The ship had sustained no damage and was still well stocked. Just it had no people on board.
Super creepy.
I don't like that one.
In 1921, the Carroll A. Deering was found run aground in North Carolina. Lifeboats and personal effects were missing from the ship, and a note was found indicating the crew had encountered pirates and had been taken captive to be killed. Rumors spread of the note. People believe the crime may have taken place off the coast of Florida before the ship was cut loose to drift. There is little actual evidence of this, however.
And in November 1941, the USS Proteus was carrying aluminium ore from the Virgin Islands when it sank in heavy seas. A month later, its sister ship, the USS Nereus, sank carrying a similar load from the same port. So whilst this seems very creepy. It is believed that these ships both shared a design flaw in which their wooden support structures would be eroded by elements found in the aluminium ore that they were carrying.
That's bad news.
It's unfortunate, really. I mean, it's just a bad coincidence of another type.
The best ship name ever.
Oh my god.
Coming up here in February of 1963, the SS Marine Sulphur Queen.
Yes, it's so good.
It went down in a storm. The Coast Guard determined the ship was unsafe and not seaworthy and never should have sailed.
It's easy to see that a lot of accidents have taken place in this part of the Atlantic Ocean. The people who believe the Bermuda Triangle to be a particularly problematic area have several explanations for what they think is making this such a weird and wonderful place.
So let's start with the natural explanations. The first is compass variation. Some have theorized that the unusual local magnetic anomalies may exist in the area. The tricky part is these anomalies aren't really well documented, and a lot of people don't believe they exist, including me. And this is a true story, today I was talking to a friend of mine who served in the U.S. Navy in the Bermuda Triangle, and this is what he told me. He was serving as ship helmsman and experienced the navigational compasses spinning all the way around the dial in the summer of 1991. When he went to go report it, he learned that many cases of such compass irregularities have been noted in official naval logs from different ships across the years in the Bermuda Triangle.
Well,
it's creepy.
Yes. I don't have a friend who can vouch for this one, but the Gulf Stream is a major surface current that flows across the region of this part of the ocean. Whilst it can cause issues for small planes making water landings or small boats, large ships can navigate the Gulf Stream without an issue.
Human error and weather are other common explanations when talking about accidents, either in the air or at sea. Of course, anytime you're talking about the ocean, you have hurricanes, rough seas, violent winds, including something called wind bursts that can damage crafts in the air and at sea. These powerful downdrafts are basically cold air that gets shot down, and if you're a plane or a boat in that column of air, you can be crippled, and then you're in trouble, and then you become one of these things we talk about on a podcast.
Some have claimed that large fields of methane gas on the continental shelf can release gas into the water. Experiments carried out show that large methane bubbles can decrease the density of seawater enough to sink a ship, but the United States Geological Survey says there have been no large releases of gas in the Bermuda Triangle in the past 15,000 years. So, whilst possible, extremely unlikely.
And there are, of course, paranormal explanations given for the long list of accidents in the Bermuda Triangle.
Sure. Do we need to go into them? No, but just assume that there are some. One explanation blames leftover technology from the lost continent of Atlantis.
Perfect.
Which some people believe is a submerged rock formation known as the Bimini Road in the Bahamas. And this leftover technology from an ancient time is what is bringing down these ships.
Others attribute events to UFOs. This was shown by Steven Spielberg, of course, in the science fiction film Close Encounters of the Third Kind, which features the lost Flight 19 air crews as alien abductees. I don't think it's that.
No, I don't think it's aliens either. I mean, why would they just be confining themselves to that one triangle area? It doesn't make any sense.
This is an impressive list of accidents, right? There's a bunch of weird things going on throughout recorded history, but there's a lot of research that says the Bermuda Triangle is actually no more dangerous than other well-traveled corners of the ocean. It's easy to see people can get excited and can read these articles and can get carried away into thinking that this is a bigger thing than it actually is.
When I was a kid, I remember I was watching a magic show on TV of some kind. It may have actually been a David Copperfield show. And one of the tricks that he did was based on the Bermuda Triangle, and he was going to make himself disappear inside of this triangular case. But he was trying to highlight the powerful paranormal activity that the Bermuda Triangle can hold. So he basically took out these wooden sticks and made a pyramid out of them and put them in the middle of this area, like this kind of floor area. And he claimed that he had kind of put into this pyramid the power of the Bermuda Triangle. He then took out a wooden doll. You know those types of dolls that artists use where they move the parts around so they can sketch the human form?
Sure.
So he took one of these out and he put it in the middle of the pyramid. Then the doll started to melt into this black liquid.
Ugh.
So yes, the Bermuda Triangle has been associated with this horrifying image my entire life.
That's horrific.
I know. Anyway, a lot of things have happened in this area of sea and air. Like, lots of ships and planes have met an untimely end. So I don't know. Like, it's very coincidental. Like, it's too strange for me. Like, the magnetic field theory, like there being something wrong with this area that throws off equipment, that one is always kind of set to me as like an outside possibility anyway. Because I kind of, every now and then, and members will know this, Relay FM members will know this from listening to our very old episode about Loch Ness Monster. There is a part of me that does think sometimes that we can't know 100% of everything that happens in the world. Because as technology advances, we find out new things that we didn't know 50 years ago, 100 years ago. So I would say that there is, of course, a possibility that there is some kind of thing that is happening that we just don't understand or can't detect yet, which could lead to some weird goings on. I'm not saying it's definitely it, but Stephen, can we know everything about the world? I don't think so.
Probably not. And I agree with you. The magnetic anomaly is probably the clearest definition. Right? If your compasses and your equipment aren't working, you can come, way off your scheduled route. You could be flying east instead of west, thinking you're going to Florida, and then you go out to the ocean and run out of fuel.
Yeah. If it is more than a coincidence, then that for me is what I expect it would be.
Either way, sort of a weird one this week.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to learn more about the Bermuda Triangle, you can go to our website, relay.fm/ungeniused/9. You can see the links there. You can get in touch via email there as well, or you can hit us up on Twitter. Mike is at imike, IMYKE, and I am ISMH on Twitter. And until next weird article, Mike, say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Adios.